Welcome to the next sub-lecture, which is change of transmission. In this lecture, I will introduce you some terminology such as agent reservoir of infection, portal of exit, modes of transmission, portal of entry into susceptible host, and susceptible host. In a change of and the mode of transmission could be from direct contact, vector or vehicle, and it will enter a host when it is susceptible to it. Reservoirs of infection, by definition, is habitats where infective agent can survive and multiply. For example, in animal and in epidemiology, we call it zoonosis, and the infection is from animal to human. The second one of reservoir is environment such as plant, soil or water, and the last reservoir is human themselves, such as a case, person who are actually having a disease, a carrier, they are actually having an infection, but they are asymptomatic, inapparent infection, or they are in the incubation state or in convalescent state. A carrier can be subdivided into chronic carrier, permanent or temporary, or transient. In hospital-acquired or nosocomial infection, which is caused by microbes, the infection mainly can be found in patients, hospital staff, or equipment, whereby they are the reservoirs of infections. The portal of exit has been defined as pathway by which infective agent exits the reservoir, for example, respiratory tract, gastrointestinal tract, genitourinary tract, skin, blood, or body secretions. In these diagrams, it illustrated how an agent can leave the body and spread the infection. And not to forget, a vector such as mosquito can serve as a reservoir, and it provides a way portal of exits of the microbes in the blood. The mode of transmission has been defined as mechanism through which infective agent move from reservoir to susceptible host, and there are two ways, the mode of transmission, which is direct and indirect. The direct mode of transmission is mainly through contact and person to person. The mode of transmission mainly sexual contact, intrauterine transmission, and transdermal. The intrauterine transmissions, where we call it vertical, can happen when mother to the baby, and for example, it happened transplacental for rubella, toxoplasma, in perinatal stage such as listeria, gonorrhea or chlamydia, and during breastfeeding, for example, HIV. For indirect mode of transmission, it occurs mainly due to contaminated vehicle fomites such as food, water, inanimate objects such as bathing dressings of a patient, airborne, dust, droplets, nuclei, or vector-borne, biological or mechanical. The transmission of disease caused by fomites are inanimate objects such as tissue, towel, drinking glasses, or needles. As for droplets transmission, it can cause by saliva and mucus, coughing, sneezing, laughter, and the distance normally is less than 1 meter. The transmissions of disease caused by vectors, mainly arthropods, can be through mechanical means or biological means. For mechanical means, it can be through passive process. Pathogens are on the body of the vector, or fly landing on the food. For biological mean, there are active process whereby the vector must bite or scratch or sting, for example, mosquito bite. For portal of entry, it is pathway by which infective agent enters susceptible host, and it can enter through respiratory tract, GIT, broken skin, or through placenta. The susceptible host has been defined as a person who lacks sufficient resistance to a specific pathogen organism. And the factors influencing susceptibility are sociodemographic characteristics, the lifestyle practices, genetics, concomitant diseases, or current medications. The outcome of exposure mainly no infection for the host, or there is clinical infection may result in death, or it will result in gaining of immunity, or they become carrier, or they have no immunity. The subclinical infection may result in immunity, carrier, or non-immunity. And lastly, the outcome of exposure is carrier. The strategies to break chain of transmission mainly disrupt direct contact, whereby a person needs to wear gloves, do hand washing or disinfection, interrupt indirect contact such as proper disposal of contaminated materials, or we have to prevent by eating contaminated food or water, and lastly, eliminate vectors through public health measures. I would like to conclude this lecture, Change of Transmission, whereby I have highlighted agent reservoir of infection, portal of exit, mode of transmission, portal of entry, and susceptible host.